S00250.
Tiffany Woods for the people.
Assistant Public Defender Davi Liba for Ms. P. Ms. P, could you unmute and state your name, ma'am?
Kayla P.
Thank you. We're here for sentencing today. Have you had a chance to review the pre-sentence investigation report with your client?
Hey, Your Honor, we have no factual modifications. We'd be asking the court to accept the recommendation.
Thank you. Ms. Woods?
Judge, I've also had an opportunity to review the PSIR recommendation. I know that her parents are present on Zoom. They would like to make a statement to the court. And I would just like the court to be aware that in that interview, she basically denies having made this assault, and basically said that it's all her mother's fault and she had to spray her mother in the face to protect herself. So we're asking the court for 18 months of probation, not the 12 months of probation. And I would ask the court to allow the victims to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll start with Ms. Naomi, the mom, and was the victim of this particular assault. And I know that the brother was present. I read the police report so that everybody is aware of the fact that I read the report, both the pre-sentence investigation report very closely, as well as I read the report so that I could get a clear understanding of what was reported to the police in terms of what happened that day versus what Ms. P is saying in terms of what happened that day. Because I hope that the community is aware that I'm very attuned to whether people are accepting responsibility for their actions or not. It makes a huge difference for me if people can acknowledge their wrongdoing and try to rectify their wrongdoing versus folks who decide that they are going to discount what they actually did and make excuses for it. So I really do want to know what happened that day based on what the mom said to the police and what the brother said to the police. It seems fairly clear to me, but I want to hear further from the folks at that home as to the environment. So, Miss Naomi P., I'm very pleased that you're here today, and I welcome your comments.
Thank you, Your Honor. I wrote out my victims. I had some deep thought over the last weeks about what happened, and I wrote out what I was going to say. And thank you for allowing me to express my what happened. My name is Naomi, and I am the mother of Kayla, the defendant. Unfortunately, Kayla had unfavorable living conditions for quite some time. She reached out to her dad and I regarding coming to live with us. Kayla had been living with my husband and I for about 3 weeks. A couple of days before the incident, her 3 children were staying in our home as well. On June 7, 2025, my daughter Kayla arrived home from work and proceeded to prepare her children for a bath after fussing with her dad about taking care of her children and being her responsibility. During an attempt to have a discussion with Kayla about the needs
Judge set the tone for drama. Right from the start, tension brews as responsibility becomes a focus.
about the needs of her children and the conditions of our basement, she used profanity and yelled at me, saying, "F you." During this argument, I proceeded down my basement stairs and approached her. She sprayed a chemical fragrance in my face. The fragrance caused blurred vision in my eyes. As I attempted to get the can out of her hands, we fell to the floor wrestling. She then started pulling my hair. I began pulling hers. At some point during all the commotion, she said, "I don't have a mother." I quote. She also insulted my educational accomplishments and my faith. She said, and I quote, "You want to be a sane nurse?" That's a sexual assault nurse examiner. Huh. I wouldn't want your help. You call yourself a Christian? Some Christian. End quote. Her 3 children were present and witnessed the entire incident. Fortunately, I did not have to seek medical attention for the chemical exposure. The only injury that I suffered was emotional and mental distress, which was a constant, painful reminder of what happened. The emotional and mental trauma has been far more difficult to bear. Her words, I quote, "I do not have a mother," were incredibly hurtful and continue to echo in my mind. The fact that her children were there to witness her disrespect and violence has caused me deep emotional pain. I feel betrayed and violated in my own home, a place that should be a sanctuary. Her insults about my profession as a sane nurse were particularly damaging, as I have dedicated my career to helping others in vulnerable situations. Her attack on my Christian faith, calling me weird, and telling my mother, my husband, and I are a cult, was direct insult or assault to my identity and beliefs, which are a source of strength and comfort for me. I am deeply concerned about the trauma her children, my grandchildren, experience. They are victims of domestic violence, both in their mother's relationships and now by witnessing her actions. Children who see this kind of behavior are more likely to struggle with mental health issues later in life. My greatest fear is that they will internalize this behavior and see it as normal. This incident has caused a significant divide in our family. It has shattered my sense of security and trust. I worry about her and her children's well being and the cycle of violence they are a part of. The family relationships are now further strained, and the healing process seems nearly impossible. My daughter must own the decisions she makes and take responsibility for her actions. She needs to understand that her behavior has consequences, not just for herself, but for everyone around her, especially her children. I want her to understand the gravity of what she has done. My primary hope is not to see my daughter punished, but to see her get the necessary help she needs to cope and heal from whatever unfortunate situations she has encountered in her life. I believe she is struggling with her own mental health issues, and I want to see her receive the professional help she needs to break this cycle of violence and anger. I want her to heal so she can be a healthy mother for her children and prevent them from being victims of mental health issues in the future. I urge the court to consider the long-term impact of this incident on my daughter, my grandchildren, and me. I ask the court to mandate a appropriate course of action that will lead to my daughter taking accountability and receiving the mental health and domestic violence counseling she so desperately needs. Thank you, Judge Washington, for allowing me to take this time to express my feelings.
Thank you, Ms. P. I noticed that there was a Byron P. and the father. Who is it? Did anyone else want to speak today?
Didn't want to talk over you, Judge. I was just waiting to address
Thank you.
our man.
You
Well,
may
I'm sorry.
proceed.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Byron P. I'm the husband of 27 years of my wife, Naomi, and our daughter, Kayla. And it saddens me. I just simply had to wipe tears from my eyes that my family is here in a courtroom dealing with something that should have never even happened. You know, I take a lot of focus in on our grandchildren, and I just think it's important for them to learn things that are, beneficial for their age. And we were watching, for example, an age-appropriate education for them. And I was just more or less trying to do an assessment to see what they knew and what they didn't know, and just was going to help them out with it. And there was a comment that one of the children made, and my daughter was in the other room, and she said, "Yeah, we know about that. I'm taking care of it." I just said, "Wow." The intervention. I just, it's that's how she addressed me. She let her children hear that, and it was something that was of extreme importance. I think it's extremely important for the children to receive help. It takes a village, and I really want them to know that they're loved and they're cared for, and I want the best for all of them because I love them, and I love Kayla, and Kayla would constantly tell me that I wouldn't allow her to parent, and this particular day, Kayla worked a 2 to 8 shift. She got off, and I would assume she would have got home by about 20 minutes. And if she had something else to do, I would think a responsible parent should call whoever has her children and simply let them know what was going on. It became to 8:45, and then I took the initiative to call Kayla. And that was negative to begin with. She just started cussing at me and stuff. And I love my daughter dearly, and it saddens me that the communication goes that way. And Kayla, I mean, it hurts me sadly because she would tell you something bad about certain individuals, and then you'll see her with them the following day. And I just said, what kind of life is that? My wife and I, we were trying to get a job for my son. He wasn't interested, and we both said, wow, it would be a wonderful job for Kayla. It was a skilled trades job, and I really wanted to tell her about it. And I've been trying to contact her, and she wouldn't answer the phone. I left messages for her, and it just saddens me because we really want the best for Kayla. Because it really hurts my heart to be in a courtroom right now dealing with family matters that
The mother steps in and delivers a gut-wrenching story. Her words cut deep, revealing lasting scars and fears for her grandchildren.
that we shouldn't even have, and I'm at a loss of words. I'm embarrassed that our family is here, and I'm watching my daughter putting her head down. She's got these facial gestures and all that, and that's uncalled for. She's loved. I mean, even at church, we had big people praying for her. Just wanting the best for her, and they love her kids, and it's rather embarrassing that we have to be here in a courtroom to talk about something that shouldn't have happened. I love my daughter. I want to try to move forward in a positive manner, but I just don't like this immaturity of like not wanting to talk to your parents. We love her, and I want the best for her. And it really saddens me that we're in a courtroom and this is going on. I just want the best for my daughter and her children. And Kayla, I'm sorry that we are here because it didn't have to be this way. All I really wanted to do is to see if you would call me to be responsible. You wasn't that. You disrespected me the way you talked to me, and you just, it's just sad, Kayla. We have to do better. Even after court is done, I'm still going to be your father. That's still going to be your mother, and we're still going to be a family. And we should be able to move forward as responsible adults. I'm looking at you right now. I'm just like, wow, do you even take it seriously? We're in a courtroom, Kayla. Thank you, Judge, for letting me talk. I don't want to hold your time, but I appreciate you allowing me to address the court.
Thank you, sir. Anything else from the prosecution today?
No, Judge.
All right,
Your Honor, I would like to provide some additional elocution, if I may.
you may.
Thank you, Your Honor. So firstly, Ms. P did indicate to me that Mr. P was trying to contact her. She was not returning those calls because she believes it would be a violation of the no contact order that she is subject to in this case. So that's why Ms. P is indicating that she did not return those calls. With regard to the issue of Ms. P taking responsibility for her actions, I think Ms. P, it's fair to say, has some maturing to do. And part of that process is coming to grips with taking responsibility for your actions. She's pled guilty in this matter, and that's taken the first step to taking responsibility for her actions. I think she's going to comply with the recommended program in this case, which will help her develop those skills further. So we would ask the court continue the original recommendation of 12 months probation, which of course can be extended if Ms. P fails to comply with her obligations.
May I comment, Judge, if you don't mind? To the best of my knowledge, Kayla and my wife had the incident. It was just happening in the home where I was in. She didn't have a no contact clause with me. It was with my wife. So me calling is perfectly fine.
So, couple of things before I go to Ms. P. One is, before Dad even said anything, and while Mom was talking mainly, Ms. P's body language was very off-putting. She's turning her head when Mom's talking. She's essentially giving all the body language that one gives when they want someone to stop talking. As I watched her while Mom spoke myself. The one thing I think I got out of what Mom said that may not justify, because there's no justification for it, but at least frame why Miss P thought Mom was charging at her, is because she was cursing at her mother. So it is likely that Mom may have been charging at her when you cuss at your mom in her house. But it doesn't justify that you're going to spray your mother with anything and fight your mom and pull her hair. The disrespect that I'm hearing is just outlandish, is the word I look at and think of. And the fact that you don't know that and you don't understand that is extremely problematic. So is there anything else you want to say before I go to your client, Mr. Lebo?
I think I don't have anything further, Your Honor, no.
Ms. P, is there anything you would like to say today?
Well, it was to my knowledge that this was sentencing, and it was my time to allow you to hear my side of the story.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
I said it was to my understanding that this was sentencing, and it was my chance to let you hear my side of the story. But I shared my side of the story, and it just won't happen again.
Ms. P,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you agree that your parents allowed you to come back home with 3 children and stay in their basement?
I necessarily, honestly, I don't even know how to answer that question.
You don't know how to answer whether they allowed you to come back and stay in their basement with 3 children?
No, it did. It's a lot of missed context clues.
Ms. P, the judge is just
I'm-
asking you a yes or no question.
Then I guess yes.
What is the hesitation in that?
I got placed in an unfortunate situation, so I'm just trying to pay the consequences.
I don't know what you mean by you got placed in an unfortunate circumstance. I don't know what that even means.
Well, Your Honor, it's not much convincing I can give you anymore. So I really feel like I can't even tell you my side of the story anymore. everybody's minds got made up.
That's your choice. All of this is because it's your choice.
Well, to be honest, what happened was I was providing for my children. Really, it was just me staying there. And spirit of the moment, my children were supposed to come there because some other thing happened regarding my previous home, and a lot of other things got messed up with what I had set up for my children. So I was just trying to have everything set back up for my children. They got placed over there, and everybody said they wanted to help me, but when the time came down to it, it just seemed like it was a issue. So I was necessarily trying to do the best I could as a single parent, going to my payroll job and being a dasher on the side. Now, my children came there with all of their belongings that their dad had packed up. And
Watch closely as the judge calls out body language and hidden defiance. It's a rare, raw moment where attitude speaks louder than actual words.
It was some items that they needed. Now, me going to my payroll job, I can't touch those funds yet until payroll, until I get my paycheck. So I just said, okay, when I got off of work, I made the necessary thing to call my parents, let them know, hey, I called my dad first, actually, and let him know, because I knew my children was over there. I just said, I'm going to go dashing for an hour. That's it. I guess he didn't like the fact I said that. And I was thinking, why is he upset? Is my mom not there? Because I understand his health and everything. It's not that good. So he needs some extra help at home. So I was going to consider like, okay, maybe my mom isn't there. Maybe that's why. But he said she was there. And so he placed her on the phone, and I told her the same thing. I said, hey, I just called dad and let him know that I just got off of work and I'm going dashing for an hour. So it was some type of communication on my end. If it wasn't enough, I don't know what they wanted me to do. But after I finished my dashing, and while I was driving, it was just all these phone calls of me getting blown up by them. So I figured what's going on. I had to pull over on the side of the road. I explained this to the police too. I'm like, you're not supposed to be on the phone and driving. That's illegal. So when I figured out what was wrong, I said, I'll be home when I can. Because I said, you guys have to go dashing with me to see that you don't get done at the time that you get done. You could be in the next city or wherever. So when I made it there, it was just constant arguments about the type of jobs that I do. And they said that the kids needed to be wound down, but I thought it was still early enough because I got there around 10. So I said, well, you guys said I'm grown, that they're my children. So I said, I can just take them with me and finish dashing, getting this money, because I was going to use the money from door dashing to go get their necessary items that they need, since that's money that I can touch right away instead of waiting for a paycheck. And that's what I let everybody know, that was what type of time I was on. So then when they said, well, don't you think they need to be wound down? It's late. I'm like, well, to my understanding, when I came into the house, TV was on, they were up alive in the living room. So I was just like, okay, well, cool. They said they needed to be bathed. I said, well, let me go take them downstairs and get them bathed. I said, I'm a parent, I understand it. But my mom did say, well, if you are a parent and you know that, why would you need to say that we said that they need to be bathed? So to my understanding, while I was at work, it wasn't pitched in for any type of help that they could have got bathed, which they have done before, but it's not their responsibility. I'm their mother. So it's really my responsibility. I understand that. But as I was going downstairs to get my kids bathed, my mother was talking about the level of work and how I don't have a career job like her, and I'm Bath and Body Works and door dashing wasn't gonna make do in life. So I just simply told her, well, Mom, I don't think that was the Christian thing to do. That wasn't God. And she just lost it and was screaming at the top of her lungs saying I needed to get the HELL out of her house. And she charged down the stairs. And me being a victim of people putting their hands on me, I'm backing up. I'm not going to fight my mother. That's my mother. whatever differences we have, that's my mother, Your Honor. And I refuse to put my hands on my mother. So by me backing up, there's no outlet, and she pushed me down the corner and she punched me in the side of my head. And that's how I grabbed the deodorant spray to spray her out of self-defense. I did not want to put my hands on her. That was the nearest thing that I grabbed. I didn't know I was gonna do it, and I apologize because now I'm sitting in your courtroom today, paying for my consequences. But I also was not gonna call the police on my mom either. That's my mother. So my nature was, after that incident happened, my brother, he went down the stairs and pulled her off of me, told her to stop. And I instantly just told my kids to get dressed. It's no longer safe over here. We need to go. And that's how I said I was going to leave out of their house. I grabbed all my things, everything, because it is some stuff that I have to set up a civil standby to go grab. But I did grab whatever I could to get up out of the house. My dad told me to stay put. The last time he told me to stay put, it didn't end well. So I really just wanted to get out and get my kids out so I could take them to their dad, where I felt like, okay, they feel safe, and I'm happy that they're over there and safe. So my kids shared that they didn't want the police to come. I said, police isn't going to come because I'm not going to call them. I just want us to get out of here. And sure enough, when we were leaving out the door, an officer was on the porch. He asked, was I okay? I said, everything's fine. We were just leaving. And then another officer approached me and my children at my car and said I couldn't leave yet. I asked him, I said, why? He said he doesn't know yet. And I said, well, sir, am I being arrested? And he said he didn't know yet. So that's how all of this happened. And I'm just trying to pay for my consequences since there's no outlet again now. And like I said, I apologize for everything that happened. And I'm sorry that it happened this way. And I just wanted everything to be good. So that's my side of the story, Your Honor. So that's why I'm here, listening to everybody. I heard what my mom said. I heard what my dad said. I'm taking it in. And I apologize to both of them as the creators of me.
So did you say F you to your mother?
No, but I did say that about the same because I felt like, why did you punch me in my head? And you told me that you used me as inspiration to be a sane nurse. So I did say that. That is valid that I said I wouldn't want to get help from her.
These situations are incredibly difficult. I also know that you're an extremely smart young lady, and you can sit here and give me a version of events.
The father's heartbreak takes center stage in this tense courtroom. He pleads for unity while exposing the painful cracks in the family bond.
Events that seems very rational and reasonable. And I wasn't there.
I know. And I'm just hurt because I didn't expect my mom to do that to me. And that's my mother. And I'm not trying to like give anybody a sob story, Your Honor, but how she said that she had emotional trauma from that. I had emotional trauma as well as her daughter because I never expected that to happen. And I just wanted to pay the consequences. I just wasn't gonna fight my mom, and I wasn't gonna call the police on my mother. Whatever difference.
But you did fight your mother. You're gonna say you weren't going to, but you did. You fought your mom. You literally sprayed her in the face. You literally pulled her hair. Those things you don't acknowledge pulling her hair either.
She didn't even pull my hair. That's why I didn't know why she said that. My hair wasn't pulled and her hair wasn't pulled. But what happened was she charged at me and pushed me down in the corner and punched me in the side of my head, causing me to grab something that's near me, which was the deodorant spray. I just sprayed her to get her off of me. But my brother pulled her off. And that's the only physical, well, not physical because you guys call that a weapon, but that was it. And I grabbed my stuff and I tried to leave the scene because I didn't want shit. I didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't feel safe being over there. And I didn't feel like my children were safe being over there either. Because it was done in front of them.
So who's Brandon?
And that's my brother. That's who pulled her up off me. He had just came home from work.
Yeah, Brandon says that the argument started over Naomi telling Kayla about not helping around the house, nothing to do with your job. And you responded by spraying her in the face with a white canister of spray. And then Naomi attempted to grab that spray from you, and then you ended up falling over and started wrestling on the ground. So you sprayed your mom in the face. And then you were pulling your mom's hair. So not only did she say that, but an independent witness says that.
He wasn't even in the basement when all of this took place.
And that's when Naomi punched you to get you to stop pulling her hair. So I don't know if you're delusional or what. Like, do you really believe these things that you're saying? Because their version of the events, talking to separate people, are the same without talking to each other. Then you go out to the car and you get a taser, and you're sitting here telling me that you didn't intend to fight your mother. You were going to tase your mother.
Yeah, those items fell out of my bag as I was transporting to the car. And I told that to the officer.
Out of your mouth that you were going to tase your mother because you have the right to defend yourself. So Brandon's lying on you too. Everybody's lying on you. Right, Ms. P?
Your Honor, I apologize to everybody, and I will take the 18 months of this probation because nobody was there, and I explained my side of the story. Everybody explained their side of the story, and I said I was taking my consequences.
Yeah. You know, your father's correct and your mom's correct. That the people who are going to suffer the most in this are the grandchildren. Because they're witnessing this. They're witnessing the devolution of your family as it happens in real time. And I believe you believe what you're saying. That's the hard part. Is how do you get through to someone who actually believes what they put in their head? You believe it. And stop rolling your eyes at me.
I just had something in my eyes. No, I apologize.
You have an excuse for every single thing, Miss P.
Okay.
I'm not your mom. And I will put you in jail. You're gonna need to learn how to be more respectful. So you say that you called your dad. Your dad said that he hadn't heard from you and he had to call you.
Is there a way we could pull up phone records? Like, can I go to my phone company and pull up like phone records to prove that I called?
Sure, you can do
Okay.
that.
I will do that first thing after I leave court because I have to go pay my phone bill today anyway. So I will pull that up and see if I could drop that off to the court.
Well, you know, the truth is what happened there matters to me a lot. So Dad, is it your testimony here today that she didn't call you when she got off the first job?
That's correct. I was just looking at the time, like I had stated to the court, my daughter kept accusing me of not letting her parent. And so I was trying to give her the initiative to contact. And any responsible parent who has someone watching their children will allow them to know, hey, I'm off of work, I'm on my way there, establish some type of communication. When it got to be 8:45, I was like, where's Kayla at? And one of the things is she stated that she dashes a lot. And that was just, I was talking to my son about that because he does a lot of dashing, and I said, but every time she turned around, I'm dashing, I'm dashing, I'm dashing, I'm dashing. And the lady that even the the kid's father, mother, the kid's father's mother, she said that the next day she was over there and they were gone somewhere. And Kayla told us for hours
The
about
defendant hesitates, dodges, and struggles with simple truths. Her vague answers show just how far she is from full accountability.
about how he's a terrible person and she don't want to be with him and this, that, and the other. So Kayla has a history of saying things that try to convince you that this is how she is, but it's nothing like that. And I hate to say that, Kayla, but it's the truth, you know. And I know it's going to be consequences now. You probably won't let us see the kids and things like that. And I heard you use the excuse that you didn't want to contact me, knowing it was you wasn't supposed to contact your mother. I mean, you knew that just as well as I do, Kayla. You know, and I just said, okay, I'm listening to you. The fact of the matter is, Kayla, we're in a court of law. This isn't just you talking to anybody. We're in a court of law. Think about things carefully before you say it. Don't let things get used against you. You're hurting me. Look at your facial gestures right now. I'm just like, come on, Kayla. Please, babe. Be better than that.
So, we're here because you sprayed your mom in the face, pulled your mom's hair, and I've listened very carefully to you to try to see exactly where you're coming from, and you have apologized here, but then accuse your parents of lying about basically everything that they've said today, which is pretty serious to me. Like your dad said, you're in the court of law right now. And you're looking at an opportunity to get HIDA, which is a first offender program that allows for this to be erased off your record. And I believe that everybody should, if they have an opportunity, take advantage of that opportunity so that they don't have a record, because it limits your possibilities in life if you have a record going forward. So I don't want you to have a record. But I also want you to accept responsibility for your actions. And if you seriously are not able to see what you're doing, I don't know how you change that. So what I'm considering right now is whether I'm going to finish the sentencing today or take a look at these records to see if you're telling me the truth or a lie, because I don't like anyone lying to me. I am, for the most part, I'm going to do the sentencing today. I'm going to file a recommendation of the probation department for the most part. I'm going to sentence you up to 93 days in the Washtenaw County Jail. Credit for the 1 day that's served. The 92 days are suspended. I'm going to put you on probation for 18 months. You'll be eligible for early discharge once you complete half of that. So at 9 months, if you've done everything you're supposed to do. Fines and court costs in this particular case for a total of $525. You to meet with probation when and where directed, including any and all home visits. You to make earnest efforts to maintain legitimate employment. You to complete the Class A Living Skills CBT program within 90 days. There's no assaultive or threatening behavior towards anyone. You to submit to, pay, and be responsible for random drug and alcohol tests as requested by the court, probation, or any treatment provider. There's no use of alcohol, marijuana, illegal drugs, drug paraphernalia, firearm components, ammunition, or other dangerous weapons. You'd also get a mental health assessment done, and your HIDA is granted. I'm going to do a review in 90 days. I'm seriously wondering whether you have a defiance disorder. That is what I'm concerned about. Oppositional defiance disorder.
What is that?
Where you just don't want to follow the rules that anybody gives you. Like you want to work your own pace, do what it is that you want to do. And you defy when people tell you what it is that you should be doing. So I'd like for CMH to look at that and tell me whether or not you have that. And if you have it, I am hopeful that you will work towards getting over it. If you have it, it will show up here because I am a person of authority that you would then be defined. So I hope that you don't have it and that you don't defy what I'm asking you to do. I would hope that you would not try to keep the children away from parents that seem to be very loving and caring for you and who would care for your children. As a parent, you get to parent your own kids. That's all true. But as a parent, you also need to listen to your own parents because they've been through it with you. And they can be source of guidance. But that's your choice. I'll see you back here for a review. I'm going to do a review in 60 days on October 20th, 2025. And that'll be at 10 a.m. At that time, I want to see these, I'm ordering you to provide the court records, the phone records that you're telling me that are true. So please provide me those phone records showing that you say you called your dad.
You got it.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
You need to contact the probation department tomorrow after 9:00 a.m. Do you have their phone number?
Yes, Your Honor.
Call them tomorrow after 9, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck to the family.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. God bless you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Finally, the defendant unloads her side, but tensions only climb higher. Her version challenges everything we've heard, yet doubt still lingers.